Excuses. Hugo Bros has excuses. I think we need to try look at some of the things that he said in detail. This is a follow-up to my previous video where Bafana were knocked out by Cameroon, and Hugo Bros said the reason is because Bafana like players that are playing in Europe. They lack that experience playing in high intensity matches, high pressure matches. Our players are not used to that. That's according to him. And I'm saying that is him distorting perception and reality. For example, Bafana lost against Egypt. Egypt has 2 out of the 11 players in their starting 11 playing in Europe. Only Mo Salah and Omar Marmoush. Those are the only 2 out of the 11 playing in Europe. That's 18%. Bafana, we had 3 out of 11 players in our starting 11 playing in Europe. That's 27%, right? So for me, why did we lose that game? It has nothing to do with players playing in Europe because it's more of the same. In fact, South Africa should have been at an advantage with 1 more player. Basically, our spine are players that play in Europe. We have Lyle Foster, striker at Burnley. We have Sitole at CDM in the Bafana midfield, playing in Portugal. And we also have Ngezana playing in Romania. That's the spine of the team. One of the most important aspects of a squad is its spine. And our spine plays in Europe, but we still lost that game. Not only did we just lose that game, Egypt were down to 10 men for majority of that game and for the whole second half. Omar Mamouche got sacrificed after an Egyptian defender committed a red card offense, right? So what did that mean? That meant that only Mo Salah was left on the pitch. So they only had 1 player from Europe in that squad. And Bafana still couldn't beat Egypt, let alone beat Egypt. Bafana still couldn't score against 10-men Egypt. You need to look at your tactics. It has nothing to do. The reason Bafana lost has nothing to do with players playing in Europe. It looked like it when Bafana got knocked out of the Afcon by Cameroon in the round of 16. Cameroon in its starting 11 had 9 out of 11 players playing in Europe. That's 82%, right? Bafana still had their normal 3. This time it was Kabini, Ngezana, and Lyle Foster. So that maybe can distort the picture. Whereas Bafana has 3 out of 11, 27% players playing in Europe in that starting 11. And then Cameroon had 9 out of 11, which is 82%. And that's what he leaned on. Again, he's changing the excuse for me because that wasn't his excuse in Egypt. He couldn't use that. So he had to come up with another excuse now. But Egypt made it all the way to the final 4, to the semi-finals of Afcon 25. It's Morocco, it's Senegal, it's Nigeria, it's Egypt. Egypt that has 3 players in their whole squad playing in Europe, and 2 of them are actually in the starting 11. So Egypt knocked out Cote d'Ivoire in the quarterfinals. They beat Cote d'Ivoire 2-3 in the quarterfinals. Egypt in that starting 11 still had their normal 2 out of 11 players, 18% in the starting 11, while Cote d'Ivoire had 10 out of 11, all but 1 of their players. All of them play in Europe except for 1. That is 91% of the squad. So a team that had only 2 out of 11 players playing in Europe beat a team that had 10 out of 11. Everyone except 1 playing in Europe. What is Hugo Bros' excuse? If Egypt can do it, we can do it. South Africa goes toe-to-toe on African football with Egypt. Al Ahly, Pyramids, Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates. Those were your CAF African Champions League semi-finalists last year. Al Ahly and Mamelodi Sundowns went to represent Africa in the Club World Cup, in the FIFA Club World Cup. And Mamelodi Sundowns performed better than Ahly, just by the way. So my point is, we have to be able to look at some of the things that Hugo Bros says, criticize them, be very careful about what we accept, what we don't accept. He has standards. And I think essentially for me is that Hugo Bros does not know how to lose. He is a sore loser. That is a good mentality to have because it also led us to this 24-match unbeaten run. Since our last defeat to Mali, people will say, look at the teams in there. There are some decent teams in there. We beat Morocco. We drew to Algeria. We drew to Nigeria a few times. So South Africa has played decent opposition. The likes of DRC Congo, that's also going to the World Cup. South Africa has played decent opposition and has not lost in 24 games before the loss to Egypt in this Afcon, as well as Cameroon. So his mentality, he's does not want to lose mentality has gotten South Africa some places. It's gotten South Africa back-to-back qualifications in Afcon, finished third in Afcon 2023, and also qualifications to the World Cup. But now, this is where he needs to freshen up his tactics and his formation and strategy. And I think this is where he was caught out. He was caught lacking. He was not prepared for this tournament. He ran out of ideas. And because of that, he's just trying to give excuses all the time. South Africa lost against Egypt. He blamed it on the referee. He couldn't blame it on number of European players because South Africa have more than Egypt, so he blamed it on referee and decisions. And if you actually look at the decisions, they make sense. It was supposed to be a penalty when Mudau hit Salah in the eye, in the face. It's hand to face. His hand is high. There's nothing the referees can do. And in the handball decision, it was a supporting arm. The player is sliding. South Africa are not entitled to a penalty where it doesn't even disadvantage them, as the Homogona shot was wayward. It was going wide. It was not going to trouble anyone. So he just tried to rally behind the fact that decisions went against him and make that as an excuse for Egypt. And when he couldn't do that against Cameroon, he then started saying it's because Bafana lack European experience. So for me, it's easy to see. It's easy to see through the nonsense. Try see through some of the things he's saying. They need to go do a thorough review of why Bafana didn't perform well, and that's down to coaching, to tactics, to formations, to squad selections, to starting 11, everything. But referees and everything but players not playing in Europe. So yeah, for me, a player that plays in Europe, a player that plays in Africa, you both have feet. You both have 2 feet, 2 legs. You both have soccer boots, shin guards. You can play football. Let's see who's better on the day. And Egypt is proving it with 2 players in their starting 11. Egypt have made it to the semi-finals of Afcon. With that being said, that's my video. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, this is Ikimele. I'm with KG Dato. Catch him on the YouTube channel. We are football. Please, we are football channel. Sharp.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
Who will be there? Do you care though? Who will be there?